Seiko's got a long history of trying to bring back and reimagine older models, especially some of the popular ones. In this case, the Seiko SNXS79 is one of the most popular Seiko 5 entry-level watches that many newer watch enthusiasts were first introduced to and they fell in love with. So it should be no surprise that Seiko would try to bring back and reimagine this watch, which they've done with so many other models in recent years. So of course, why wouldn't they with the legendary SNXS line? So in comes the Seiko 5 SRPK89. Did they manage to recreate the magic of the original? Well, let's dig in and find out. So right now, this is a good place for you, the viewer, to jump down in the comments below and insert your unpopular opinion right there. Because I'm pretty sure that my video is going to be unpopular with a good amount of you watching this video. But then again, many of you may agree with what I'm about ready to say. So the question is, did Seiko recreate the magic of the original? The simple answer is no. But is the new Seiko SRPK89 a great watch? Simple answer is 100% absolutely yes it is. And at the price you can get the watch for at the time of filming, which is at the end of 2024, it's a great entry-level proposition if you ask me. The watch build quality is amazing, and it's beautiful, and it's extremely comfortable to wear. And the modern proportions are off the charts, especially for those of you that have smaller wrists. So let's first all compare the two watches and talk about the dimensions. As you can see, the old SNXS is somewhat like this magical and mythical being. Actually, I'm not even sure I can pinpoint what makes the watch so special, but it is. So the watch dimensions come in just over 37 millimeters, and it's pretty thin at just under 12 millimeters. It's got a very short lug to lug at 42.5 millimeters, and it's got this jingle jangle bracelet that is so comfortable to wear. I don't know how to describe it. I do have to mention that the lug width is an odd 19 millimeters, but the edges of these bracelets flare out slightly and they blend into the case. A lot of people would say it's like the magic of wearing an old vintage Oyster Perpetual, but with a sub $150 price point. And even today, although this watch is discontinued, you can still find this watch for sale, brand new, for $150 or less. And even though I've heard that this watch has been discontinued, I've heard it for at least a year now, if not longer, you can still find them on the market today. So I'm gonna suggest, if this is a watch that you want, you should probably go out and pick one up now, whenever you can. The biggest issue that this watch has, in my opinion, it's been around 20 years, and it's got an antiquated Seiko movement with the 7S26 movement. It's a very reliable old school Seiko movement that doesn't even hack or hand wind. And yeah, the watch feels more vintage and inexpensive with the hollow end links on the bracelet, the split pin designs in the bracelet, the non-matching date wheel, and everything else you'd expect with a 20-year-old design. But I don't care what you say. Most of the watch enthusiast community absolutely love this watch, myself included. If you look at the old one on my wrist, yeah, it's got a scratch in the flat and very interesting hardlex crystal. And yeah, it's scuffed up all over the place, but I still enjoy wearing it, bottom line. Now turn your attention to the new SRPK89, the new SNXS series released in the Seiko 5 Sports lineup. And as you can see, this watch is different. Yeah, there are some similarities, but there are a lot of distinct differences. The case is even shaped slightly different. It's a little bit more bulbous, if that makes any sense to you. Remember, it's just a reimagining of the original legend. The watch itself is slightly larger and just over 37 millimeters. It's a couple millimeters bigger than the previous version. It still has a very comfortable lug-to-lug measurement around 45 millimeters, but that's a couple millimeters bigger than the original. It's a little bit thicker, closer to 13 millimeters, and that's probably due to the domed hardlex crystal. And it's also powered by the 4R36, which is actually a newer Seiko movement. It has 41 hours of power reserve, and you can actually hand wind and hack the movement too. The build quality on this watch is multiple levels above the old and original SNXS. You have some really nice chamfering and mixtures of brushed and polishing on the case. Yeah, the new Seiko also features a hardlex crystal. However, the dome on the new version adds to its thickness, like I said earlier, but also, in my opinion, it adds to the beauty of the watch. Once again, this could be a very unpopular opinion, so please feel free to add your unpopular opinion down below in the comments section below. Now, going back to the bracelet, it has solid end links and it is a bit more common 18mm lug distance, the width. So it also has drilled lug holes on the case. This is a big improvement over the original. So you can swap out the bracelet with a nice leather strap if you wanted to. And the bracelet itself, it feels extremely solid, aside from the cheap pressed Seiko 5 clasp that we all seem to expect with all Seiko 5s nowadays, which is very sad. But I have to admit, the watch itself is built extremely well for what it is. I should also point out, both watches have see-through case backs, which I personally always appreciated. Especially in my early years of watch collecting and enthusiasm, I can't tell you the number of hours I've spent looking at the back of my timepiece and admiring the intricacies and engineering of the automatic movements, no matter how plain of a movement they were. Does the new Seiko SRPK wear a little differently than the old SNXS? Absolutely it does. But the build quality is more up to modern standards. Especially with so many micro brands on the market, you'd expect Seiko to step up their build quality a bit, and they have. Let's discuss the price of the new Seiko 5. For the current price, which is very important to understand, this is the end of 2024, you can now actually get this watch for around $250, thereabouts, all day long. Just check out eBay for starters. You know, when this watch was first released, it retailed for over $400. Now on the Seiko website, they listed it at $395 at full retail. But as you know, no one pays full retail for Seikos, especially after they've been released for a while. So at the sub $300 price point, this is an amazing timepiece, hands down for an entry-level Seiko 5. So the question I asked originally is, could they recreate the magic of the original? And like I said, the simple answer is no. It's hard to recreate the magic of an SNXS. Seiko tried to do it with the SKX series, you know, the 007 or the 009, with the Seiko 5 street models. But like the one in my hand here, it's hard to recreate that magic of the original. But did Seiko create something pretty awesome in this reinterpretation of the SNXS? Absolutely. These watches are great. They're built well, they're elegant, and they're sporty at the same time, and they're very easy to wear. And with the upgraded movement, you have a watch here that could last you for years and years and provide years upon years of enjoyment. Is it a different look and feel from the original? Of course it is. But what you get from a legendary brand like Seiko for around $250, it's a no-brainer if you're in the market for a mid-sized sports watch. Hands down. We all have opinions about watches, especially ones that we have originally fallen in love with, or ones that bring back some nostalgia from our earlier days of watch collecting, or just being an enthusiast. Our opinions will more likely than not be on both sides of a very wide spectrum, but that's okay. That's one of the things that make this hobby great. Finding a watch that best fits your taste, your liking. And I'm pretty sure it will be different than mine, or maybe the other guy that's in the room with you that you're talking about watches with. So please, jump down in the comments below and let us know what your experiences have been with the old school SNXS or the new Seiko 5 SRPK models. I am sure those watching this video that are considering buying the new Seiko 5, they want to hear what you have to say too, and not just my unpopular opinion. Well, if you made it this far, let me introduce myself. My name is Blake, and I am a bit of a watchaholic. And my assumption is if you've made it to this point in the video, you are a watchaholic too. So, thank you so much for listening in, and please subscribe to this channel and like the video too. But subscribing to the channel is great because I have a lot of reviews that are going to be coming your way with a lot of different watches, especially now that the weather's cooling off a bit. Anyway, thanks for spending your time with me. I'll see you in the next video.